Welcome to Truth and Transparency. Thursday. Back in my office. Back where I belong. All right. We'll let everything catch up, register here. Got my Barry Morphew papers out. I'll be showing screens. All that fun stuff. So, again, welcome to the Transparency. I'm going to show off some of my new necklaces. But, again, hello and welcome. Let's do this. It's going to be back. Oh no, what did they do now? Colorado's just a dumpster fire. That's just, I don't see it changing. It started with John Benet Ramsey and it's continued on, so. In fact, the only reason I'm doing this live and covering this case is because the attorneys that I got for Chris Watts are actually part of the Barry Morphew team. So that'd be Jane Fisher and company. So that's the reasoning for this live, and then also has to do with just that Colorado botches everything they put their hands on. So, again, welcome to the Transparency. I know a lot of channels have been covering this. I try to stick to the stuff that Fight for a Family does, and this is not one of those, but it has to do with Colorado, and that had to do with the Chris Watts case, which obviously I was a big part of, and so hence this live. I am very tan. I tan well. I'm half Italian. I almost tan as good as they almost lie, you know? I don't know who does it better, my tan or their lies, but either way. Fight for a Family, I want to thank a special person, made a couple different necklaces. A Fight for a Family one for me, something for Jax, Fight for a Family bracelet. God, I just want to say thank you. I don't know if you want me to say who you are, but thank you. I love the support. Love this. What's up, Boston? I got a new hat so that Jax could draw the monkey. This is the only sunscreen I use. My hair also got, look at that blonde. It got a lot blonder too. So I'm in the process of actually printing off everything to do with the Barry Morphew case. Somebody that I respect, Alex Erickson. She's done a lot with this. She's going to probably join me. I don't know if it's going to be today or on a scheduled out live. But we're going to do a live together about this case, so you guys can look forward to that. CT supports Lana. Thank you. Teddy girl, come here. Also, I have my Truth and Transparency shirt on. Look at that. Look out. I gotta tend to Teddy for a second. Teddy girl, come here, baby. Come here, girl. Come here. No, we don't do that, okay? No. Okay, baby? Come on. Stay away from that. Thank you, baby. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. So I'm not sure if you guys know this, but the prosecution... You want to go outside, baby? The prosecution in this case is... they're out 12 of the 14 expert witnesses. I mean, how does that happen? What's wrong, baby? What do you want? Hold on one more second here. Come here, baby. Come on. You want to say? Come here, baby. You want to say? Come on. Go in by your brother then. Okay? Good girl. Again, puppy love over here. So let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and share something for you guys. All right. I don't know if I can make it bigger, but so what you guys are looking at here is this is like all the people of the state of Colorado versus Barry, and then it's going to be whatever they chose to put up there for the public to view. Obviously, this is not everything. They can choose to leave out whatever they want. I mean, obviously, they have to get it first in order to be able to do that. And they've been able to do that. But something that I wanted to point out was the ability to show you guys this. And you guys have all seen it before, but I think it's something that, let's see. It won't work like that. Oh. It should change pages. Let's see. Stop share. I thought it was interesting, so here we go. Boom, look at it. You know, clearly text messages / Facebook messages. And for somebody that's been, I guess you could say, come here, baby girl. In the Colorado courts, my first day that I was expecting just to handle a simple matter, a magistrate said to me that it looks like you're here. It looks like you're prepared. You got all these binders, and yeah, I had screen, photographs, just what you see right here is exactly what I had prepared and ready in January 27th. And it was like, you can't use those, you know that, right? Excuse me? Yeah, I can. But this is what they were trying to tell me. And in order for them to be like admissible, like who's going to testify to these and blah, blah, blah. Well, you don't even know what they are. no offense, magistrate, but you have no idea what they are. And yes, you can use text messages, and yes, you can use screenshots of text messages. Somebody has to authenticate them. But it was like, it was like somebody trying to tell me that I wasn't prepared for something and that I couldn't do something. Well, come to find out, I most certainly was prepared, and I most certainly could use them. But this is all going to come out later on down the road here. But when I initially saw this, I laughed because I said, here we have a murder, a nationwide huge case. And this is the people's, the people's exhibits. They're putting these in. And so I just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention, that this is most certainly you are allowed to use screen shots. You have to, someone's going to testify to authenticate them. That's how that works. So if it was like text messages between, like, let's say me and Mod Squad, they're from my phone, I'm testifying to them. Baby, it's just your shadow. It's just your mirror image. It's just you. Come here. Anyways. But as I was just recently in Colorado and dealing with some stuff, I saw this and thought, the first thing I want to point out to everybody is that anybody that says that this is not admissible, it's not true. Screenshots are 100% admissible. Somebody has to testify to the authenticity of them, and then you would have the opposing side saying, well, no, those aren't, after seeing them, know that those are, fabricated. Come here, Teddy. Come here, baby. Teddy's having a fight with herself right now. No joke. Come here, baby. Come here, Sal. Come here. It's just you, babe. It's just you. It's just you, baby. It's just you. It's no stranger. No stranger danger. Come here. Okay. Again, hello to everybody in chat. I'm not actually looking at it, so don't think I'm rude. But I'm just going to be going through a couple different things that I wanted to point out, which was the People's Exhibit. And there's 90-some pages, 92 pages of it. And then they put in for, obviously, a change of venue in February. The defense admitted some exhibits. And when looking at, like, all the different dates. So here we come to a week ago. If you guys didn't catch, I believe it was like March, I want to say 30th it came out. That the prosecution took a huge blow. And these expert witnesses are no longer able to testify as expert witnesses due to Colorado not doing their job, law enforcement not doing their job. And the reason this is important, and the only reason I'm talking about this, is because this has everything to do with what I've been saying since day one with Colorado and how it pertained to Chris Watts. Thank you for saying to hit that up yet. The defense has been on them about not getting stuff over to them in time, in a timely fashion. I know that that's been an issue. That's always an issue, though. That's an issue across the board, and it's bullshit. Okay? But something that I want to talk about is, do we understand that if Barry Morphew had a public defender and didn't have a bunch of brains working on his case and able to put in these motions using, all these well-versed litigators to be able to submit these motions, argue them, Barry is just like anybody else then when you have a public defender or anybody that's inexperienced. And it's safe to say that Barry Morphew doesn't have that issue. He has a very good team. It's not just one person. And so does that matter? Absolutely it matters. So does money matter? Absolutely it matters. So I want to pull up. Okay, here I can share this. Yep, it was March 30th. This was produced. 12 of 14 possible expert witnesses against him are no longer allowed to testify. I mean, when I first saw this, not saying that they were all going to testify, but they cannot now. So once again, there had to be a motion put in by the defense, and then they went and they had a hearing where then it had to be argued. And again, this would be somebody that knows what they're doing. Like, otherwise you're in a situation that, Chris Watts was in, and his team, I mean, no offense to any of them, but that wasn't the A-list team of public defenders that could have been handed out. He didn't get that. And they couldn't argue anything. You want to let Teddy in, baby? Oh, I just went ahead and sprayed that down. It's nothing. Thank you, sir. Shoot. Hold on, let me pull one other thing up. One of the witnesses was a veterinarian who's expected to testify about animal tranquilizers and how it affects the animals. The prosecutor said that they had hoped it would help allow a jury to infer how it could possibly work on humans. Because of what was found. However, the judge ruled against allowing that testimony, citing a lack of evidence. And right there, that's called discretion. That's where your judge comes in. Because why didn't the judge just say, yeah, they can testify? Why was it a no? Why was it a no? Why didn't they just allow it? Why would it be a no? Like, how did Barry's team win this? This is huge for Barry. Why didn't the judge just say, we're going to allow it? We're going to allow it. And then I know somebody wrote in chat, I saw quickly canine. And we're getting to that part right here. The canine handler said, or the prosecution had also planned on using a canine handler of a dog that was assigned to search for Suzanne on the night she went missing. The canine handler said he had filled out a report. He filed a report on the case, but the prosecution never asked for it and told the defense it didn't exist. The prosecution was issued a violation for not collecting the report and giving it to the defense as well. Now, the handler is only eligible as a witness for the defense if it chooses to use his testimony. The defense asked again to have the case thrown out. While that didn't happen today, the judge is still considering a prior motion to toss the case and will make a ruling in the near future. Teddy baby, what's going on? So what would happen if the Chris Watts case went to trial and he never did a plea deal, and it comes out that the 360 Life app data is in fact not Nicole Atkinson's, but it was somebody else's? What would happen then? Does that mean that NA wouldn't be allowed to testify for the prosecution, and only the defense could call her, because the defense never received anything to do with Nicole Atkinson on any of the dump discoveries, just so you guys know that. And then how does that work with... I'm just trying to show you guys some comparisons on how you could look at these cases. Mod Squad, hi. How was your nap, love? Okay, so going back at this. Now, why wouldn't the prosecutors, it's not even the prosecutors at that point, it's the police and any agency that was handling this with the canine, who's ever in charge of this investigation is given all the reports, like it was Bumhauer with Chris's case. Okay, so when the canine handler said he had filed a report on the case, but the prosecution never asked for it and told the defense it didn't exist, they get a violation. This is my question, how did Barry's team even come to find out about this canine handler? Because if it wasn't in discovery, how would they know about this canine handler? Yeah, they ruled, basically the judge ruled that the vet isn't an expert. So they're not able to testify as an expert. So could the person testify, but it wouldn't be expert testimony? Bottom line, that's how that would work. My nap was glorious, actually. So I have a question for you guys, and this is important. How did Barry Morphew's team even know that this canine existed? If it wasn't in the discovery, how did they know this? Could it be because, I mean, his team did his job, like their job, like, but his defense team wasn't, because think about this, if the canine was searching for her on the night she went missing, Barry didn't have attorneys then, and didn't have these attorneys, and things get lost in translation. So how did anybody that's on the defense team know that this existed? I think through emails. So my point is that a bunch of digging is why. So the two things I've always said that you need is you need a really good PI, and you need somebody that can argue and can litigate with what they just did. That's how they won. Somebody could oral argue to the point that a judge has to say what they want them to say. And I give kudos to Barry Morphew's team. I know people out there think that he's guilty as hell. But again, we only know what the media tells us, unless you got somebody that's on the inside, you know, hey, this is what the media is putting out there, but this is what mainstream's putting out there, but this is the other stuff that they're not going with. So I know people think that the kids have been brainwashed. I think unconditional love plays a big part in this, and that you never want to think that your parent could kill your other parent. I mean, come on now. But this all goes back to Colorado just being Colorado. When you got a bunch of different agencies involved, you got a bunch of different people. You have all these people, and then all they're doing is filling out a report and putting it on the desk of somebody, putting it on the desk, putting it on the desk. And then you have the person that's in charge of the case with all these reports from all these different people. Mod Squad, my point is that I believe that you'd have to have really good lines of communication with your clients to sit there and say, okay, let's start from the beginning. What happened on this day? Who then was present at your home? Who came there? Did they have dogs? Did they do this? So this would be very good lines of communication. Who's ever sitting down and talking with their client to be able to get all the facts out. Do I think that this was the case with Sheldon Jeter Jr.? No, they never talked to him. They never talked. They were never talking to him. But people doing their jobs, it's going to show that they did their jobs. Barry's not out on $500,000 for no reason. Colorado scares me too. I was just there. And it's very interesting how Colorado works. Let me guess. The canine report came up with nothing, because if the canine report would have come up with something, don't you think the prosecutors would have had that, like, and be all over that? If it was damning towards Barry, wouldn't they be all about this canine this canine report? So clearly this canine report, I mean, definitely wasn't helpful to the prosecution. I don't think they'd be without it. But if it's exculpatory, if there's other things that are out there that could be exculpatory, Brady violations, I mean, do we think that this is going to get thrown out? Do we think that the judge is going to dismiss this? Why can't Colorado do their job? Why can't these agencies work together? Sorry, we're working with Teddy over here. Love you, Maple Beeve. I'll be texting you here soon. There you go. Open that up, baby. Okay. I guess I scratch my head when it comes to Colorado. If people are as guilty as sin as you say they are, then show it, prove it, let the guilt, let all this stuff surface and let it come to a trial and let the justice system work the way it's supposed to work. we have a criminal justice system for a reason, but Colorado, for some reason, thinks that our justice system, like, I feel like they take it in their own hands and they don't want trials. We're going to do plea bargains. We're going to plea everybody out. That's what I think about when I think of Colorado. I also think that they don't do their own homework. Judges, prosecutors, a lot of politics is how I feel right now about Colorado. Yes, obviously both of them were having extramarital affairs. What about the DNA in the car? I mean, it's just... I believe everybody does something for a reason. So why were they so adamant on arresting Barry when they did? And for me, there's a reason that they did that. I don't know the reason, but I'm telling you there's a reason. There's a reason that they arrested him when they arrested him. I couldn't tell you why, but there's definitely a reason. See, the prosecution isn't the one that's looking into things, guys. That's going to be your investigators. You bring a case to the prosecution, to your DA. Okay, you bring a case to them. So your agencies, your law enforcement is going to, have this case that they are then bringing to the district attorney. So when people say like the prosecution didn't look into it, I would like to say that it would be the investigators, the law enforcement, CBI, your police, your detectives. I mean, why wasn't he arrested right away? Why wasn't he arrested right away? That is correct. There is no evidence that he was cheating. Speculation, yes. But guys, let's go back to this. Just because if you don't have a lawyer that's going to argue like any and everything that the prosecution tries to do, you need multiple brains to be able to tackle whatever they're going to try to throw at you. And then not to mention your building on how you're going to defend your client, but also getting the facts from your client. Because more and more what I'm seeing is, I know that people think that the state has to prove their case. Guys, that's not the case anymore. People can say that all day long. That is not the case. Okay, if you wanted to win in the courtroom and you're a defendant, this, innocent until proven guilty shit isn't the case anymore. Unfortunately, it's not. Is that how it's supposed to be? No, it's not supposed to be that way. Okay? It's not. It's supposed to be that you're proving beyond a reasonable doubt. And unfortunately, if you don't change with the times here and your defense team isn't prepared to actually like prove your innocence versus, well, they had to prove that you did this. No, they don't. It's not how it's working anymore. It's not. And so you better have a defense team that is on it. And the only way you can have a defense team that's on it is money, because you need manpower to go through all the bullshit of all the interviews, all this discovery. And then you want people going out and getting your own stuff that the state didn't go and do. I'm going to say this over and over with, to say that somebody is capable of committing murder just because they didn't want to split money or they didn't want to get a divorce or anything like that. I'm sorry, but that's a cheap and easy way out for any prosecution. Do you know how many people get divorced in this country? People aren't going and just killing people instead of getting divorced. Money, but this dog is wild. Yeah, I saw all that. I just shake my head. Honestly, I shake my head because I see all these people that are out there they're like, oh my God, he's so guilty. He's so guilty. Well, if he's so guilty, then this should be open and shut case, right? You're telling me that Barry Morphew's smarter than all of law enforcement? You guys, it's 2020, 20 when it happened, 21 when it happened. With everything that we have technology-wise, and getting away with crimes is nowhere like it was back, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. It's not like that. But if everybody's out there saying how, he's so guilty, he's guilty of sin and all these things, it's like, well, then it should be there. In the prosecution / investigators, law enforcement, they should be able to just, do their jobs and it's all going to come to light, right? Well, no, because it's not just about that. It's about people's jobs. They're competing within law enforcement. Different agencies are competing. To get credit for stuff. It's whack. It's whack. Like I said, the only reason I wanted to talk about this case was because I just want to talk about Colorado. And I spent a lot of time with the Chris Watts case, obviously, in Colorado. And the CBI was on in Chris Watts' case. CBI's here. FBI, why can't Colorado get it right? What's the problem? I don't know the answer to that. I mean, I could sit here and give you different reasons, but I could tell you with the Watts case is that ultimately the police department and that like Bumhauer, it was his quote unquote case. And so when did Dave sit down and go through all those interviews and all those reports, and have meetings with the investigators and, meetings with, FBI, CBI? Why are you pulling CBI off of something that's their forte and having inexperienced people do things? That makes no sense unless it was so ordered, because why would you not take the help? Why would you want to botch something? The trial is supposed to be starting here in May. I mean, I think it should be thrown out. I think that this is a mess. And I think this mainstream media, going off on all these tangents about all this stuff that's never been proven. It was kind of like the Chris Watts thing, talking about Trent Bolt and that he's gay and threesomes and meeting up with like Tinder, and all this crazy crap was coming out like literally during an investigation. Like, why are you giving people airtime like this? How is that allowed? How is nobody, where is professional journalism at? That knowingly, if you know that something's not true, but you're just putting it out because what? For money. I mean, how? That's bullshit. I get you can have freedom of speech, okay, but you can't hinder an investigation. You can't, people calling in saying, I was meeting up with Chris Watts on Tinder. Like, give me a break. You've got a gag order and no one's following it. Doesn't make sense. I mean, it does. I think everybody should be fired. I mean, why aren't people's jobs just like being cut left and right? Like, I don't do my job and you get fired. I don't understand. Sounds like Colorado is corrupt. Colorado is political. That's my take right now. And I'm living proof of it. But it's like in Colorado you can say whatever you want, and it's like that's the truth. You don't need evidence. Just wow. They made such a big deal about his room smelling like bleach. Hotels have pool. Well, because they got to give people, these people need something to talk about. CNN needs something to talk about. So they just make, something into, oh my God, Barrymore, if you ate, pie, let's, turn that into something. Or they're going to take anything and make their own little clickbait, again, to make money. But it's the media. It's the media that's doing this, right? Who's doing it? well, then there's somebody that's talking to the media, right? Well, again, remember what they did in the Chris Watts cases is his attorneys went to them and said they put a motion in about it and said that there was a leak and that they wanted to find out who the leak was and that it was law enforcement and that they're over here talking and saying things that aren't true to the media. And then their comeback is that, well, that'd be a waste of taxpayers' money for us to go on a witch hunt to find out if there is a leak. What we're talking about somebody's life here. We're talking about someone's life here. It wouldn't be that much money to find out the people that you have on this, who they're texting and calling. I mean, shit. I think that should be a requirement nowadays because of how cell phones work. But I mean, I heard the same thing. I heard the same thing that if I was to play a video in its entirety, which was an hour to 2 hours of a live, instead of just a 13-second clip, I said that's incomplete evidence. That's incomplete. It's a total misrepresentation of any and everything. If you're just taking 13 seconds of something that was 2 hours and taking it out of context completely, you know, I could paste a ton of audio and make it seem like whatever I wanted to. But if something was a 2-hour production and all you heard was 13 seconds of something, or 5 seconds, or 4 seconds, how can any judge, how can any magistrate, how can anybody, jury, how does anybody, where's your common sense, where are your brains to say, wait, if you're saying that this person went on a rant about you for all these hours, well, why are you only playing 12 seconds of it, or 4 seconds, or 2 seconds? It should be the whole thing because, after all, it's supposedly what it's about. So wouldn't a magistrate or a judge want to hear that when you argue that and you say that? Wouldn't it click in someone's mind? Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, and it's no different with this case, with Chris's case. For some reason, Colorado has no common sense. Colorado, if you say, hey, the world's flat, Colorado magistrate, okay. Well, if you say so, and they're not going to argue it, well, how do you argue that? First of all, you have to be given the opportunity to argue it. But if Barry Morphew doesn't have the team that he has right now, Barry Morphew is going to be convicted of this crime because he's already convicted in public opinion right now. Do you think that it should be moved? I think it should be moved. How can Barry Morphew get a fair trial? He can't. The answer to that is he can't. But these judges get their hard-ons, and they want the case because they want to get famous. Same thing that happened with Sheldon Jeter Jr. But here, his attorneys didn't even bother to try to get it moved. He's been in the limelight for 3 years. You got a journalist that wrote over 100 articles about him and portraying him as a killer, a thug. How's the media portraying Barry? Everybody thinks he is guilty because guess what the defense is always told to do? Don't say anything. Don't talk to anybody. Don't say anything. And that's what I've been doing. Not saying anything and letting all these people talk all this whack shit about me on all these other channels. None of that's true. I'm not in some gag order. But I don't have time to devote to all these trolls. But it's just crazy because as a defendant, and as the defense always says, don't talk, don't say anything. Oh, but what can the prosecution and the petitioner do? Just run their mouths, and their supporters just run their mouths into the, character assassinate you, get everybody in the public already believe in certain things. I didn't serve a quash subpoena. Get the fuck out of here. If anybody knows me and knows how intelligent I am, that'd be the stupidest fucking thing I could have ever fucking done. I went alive and said that it was quashed. Give me a break. You do know that you have to sign subpoenas, right? If somebody served it, they signed it, right? Well, let me see some signed subpoenas. Come on, baby. Just like in this case. For the past how many years, Barry being made out to be this horrible person. Well, why? Even if somebody cheated, doesn't make you a horrible person. Why don't you ask his daughters what they feel about their dad? I just think the thing that's sad is that we're all told not to say anything if you're part of the defense. And, hold on. No, you cannot do that. No.
Do what?
Teddy was, nibbling at that. She can't do that. Okay. Did the actual subpoena get put into evidence, Lana? The one that was served? No, it didn't. There was no actual anything. Everything was just pictures. I said that. If people actually would listen to the audio instead of, I don't know, doing God knows what else. But no, there was no. The only things that were in evidence was from the petitioner was everything that was pictures. It was all pictures. You would think that if you had just been served these two subpoenas, of one which was granted to the courts, the clerk of courts, and then it's discretionary if you want to, make the person show up or not. But they get signed, they get stamped, all that stuff. So where are they? Where are the hard copies? Where are the signatures? Anybody can just print them off online because they were on there. His daughters should support him. And I don't understand how people have a problem with this. Wouldn't your kids support you? Think about that. Think about that. Oh, he brainwashed. So when you love your kid and you love your kid unconditionally and you do everything for your kid and you are an amazing parent to them, you're brainwashing them? No, it's a love. You're supporting because nothing. I mean, those girls are old enough to. They're not little. Yeah, it is their dad. It's 100% their dad. And I don't care who you are, but if you can honestly say that you wouldn't support your father, then I would say that you're lying. Unless you have no relationship with your father. Unless there is an abuse pattern history, documentation, you know. But why would those girls ever think for 1 minute that their father would kill their mother? And then, of course, because they're supporting, they're brainwashed. Give me a break. But it's like anything, you know, you can't win. Whatever you're going to do, you just can't win because people are going to spin it however they want. And it's like me. Whatever I say, you're going to go ahead and have idiots with no common sense or idiots that want to be relevant saying, oh, Lana said this. Lana didn't say that. And how about this? If you listen to it, then you're the bigger idiot. Because if you want to know what Lana said, Lana has a channel. Come to Lana's channel. You can hear everything that I say right out of my mouth. Funny, let's hate him because he's a hunting channel. But this is, you know, so I have a question, guys. I have a question. And this is like a legit question. My question is all these channels that are covering Barry Morphew, all these reporters that are writing about Barry, all these YouTube channels that just nonstop pumping out Barry Morphew case stuff, okay? And all these people that did Chris Watts and whatever, you know, is going on, and all these people are making multiple videos and talking about it. Are these people stalking them because they're talking about a case? Is that considered stalking because you're watching, you know, this person's every movement? Like, okay, so you're waiting outside because you want to get an interview with Barry Morphew when he comes out of the courtroom. Okay. So you're sitting out there and then you know, then you approach him, then you're following him in a car. I mean, is that stalking? Is that stalking? Are all these people that are covering all these cases on YouTube and all these YouTube creators, are they all stalking, you know, I mean, how is that like? I'm going to talk a lot about this tonight at 8 o'clock about all the stuff that happened with Rachel Del Tondo and Sheldon Jeter Jr. You know, were their family stalked? We're talking about Sheldon Jeter Jr. and his family. They're not public figures. Yeah, I you know what's nuts is they seal all this stuff. You know, a lot of stuff. And so therefore, like, the public, you know, can't see it because it's supposed to be preserving, you know, for the day in court and all these, for the jurors and all this stuff. Well, that's kind of like if it's nonstop coverage in your town, and that's all anybody's talking about, and it's all over like the news and the papers, I don't care if a person can Google and go hunting stuff on their own, they're going to see stuff. And so how do you ever get a fair trial in any type of situation because of the mass media? How does anybody get, you know, a fair trial? Because where's anybody in the limelight media that's ever having the back of somebody that's been accused? And I say accused, like you got arrested. They're accusing you. So where's anybody defending Barry Morphew in mainstream media? No, because that doesn't look good for our network. That doesn't look good. And see, nobody wants to talk about that. Do you say it, do you say it like cat? How do you say it? I want to make sure I say that right. So, yeah, you and me both, Mod Squad. We know that I've never covered the Barry Morphew case. Again, the only reason I'm talking about this in the first place is because of it being in Colorado, because of Jane Fisher. And I think this is just, another example of Colorado. Say it like Kate. Kate plus 8. Remember that show? Kate plus 8? Yep, Kate. Okay. Oh, look at that. Got some new subscribers. There you go. See, I love being able to talk like, let's talk about a case. Let's talk about facts. Let's talk about, ooh. Come here, girl. Come here. Come here. Come here, say hi to everybody. Teddy's getting a little bigger. Say hi. Say hi. Hi. Thank you. Yes, the dog's cute. The dog's feisty. Yes, it's refreshing to talk to people who actually consider facts. Yes, that's all I do is talk about facts. So yeah, the whole main purpose of this was to it's like and when does the judge decide that also when does the prosecution maybe want to, if they really believe that this is their person, that hey, you have a chance here to drop the charges, and then one day you can still charge him. That has to be going through their minds. To point out Colorado court system equals, yeah. Well, I'd like to compare the fact that if like Chris Watts wouldn't have taken a plea deal, whoa. But see, it would have taken, public defenders would have never been able to do what Chris needed. And Barry Morphew, same thing. Yeah, I definitely support our rights. And I definitely think that we just need to get people back. Either you're going to have to change with the times and, because there's too many people that are on juries that think, oh, well, they were arrested for a reason, so they must have done it. What? I mean, when I've heard people say that before, I'm like, whoa. Like, can you just imagine certain people that you know of, like, if they were ever on a jury, like, oh my God, we'd all be guilty. But she got your other sock off? Yeah. It took a lot. Yeah, now I'm going to need more convincing to keep her. I'm a new subscriber too. I just started watching videos on Watt's case. I really appreciate you and the binders. Yeah, the binders are everything. I don't know how people can work without binders. Doesn't make sense. Besides, I have like a photographic memory, so if I see something, especially if I use a highlighter, which I like little post-it notes where I want to put stuff. But yeah, anybody that makes fun of the binders, you just know they're jealous. Because who would ever even mention that? Like, that wouldn't even come out of my mouth. Just like if you didn't use binders, I wouldn't be like, oh my God, you didn't use binders? Like, what? Like, whoa. I just... That's Jax. I think when you just have too many people in an investigation, too many hands in the cookie jar, not even saying sometimes it doesn't happen on purpose, but it's just, if I was to interview somebody and that testimony from that interview, then I interview the next person, immediately I'll be able to tell, because I did the first interview, now I have the second interview with this other person, I'll be able to say, wait a second, that's totally not what that person said. But if you have a bunch of different people going and, here, you go talk to this person, you go talk to that person, all you're doing is compiling a report and then putting it somewhere. And then somebody is going to have to go through that. And it's a longer process, if you really think about it. And B, you don't know the contents and how it's too many moving parts. I think is bad. When they say like bring in all these people to help out and what have you. Searching for something, different story. Get all the people you can for a search party, but handling the investigation where you're actually interviewing people, you got that on record. You should call them in there, get them on record. Make sure people are saving their notes. And because then the typed up report can be matched to, is that really what the notes say? Yeah, I was actually looking into Linda a little bit, because you just kind of shake your head. I think that anything that Linda would be involved in now, don't you think it's all questionable? The answer is yeah. It's kind of like, I don't know if you guys ever followed the Anan Syed case out of Baltimore, which actually I want to pull that up for you guys. me be able to share this. Hold on. This is a case that I'm very, very passionate about. I might even do my own. Let it share there. Okay, good. All right, so this was actually when I was in high school. This had happened, 1999. Come here, baby. Come here. Come sit by me. Come sit with me. Come here and get some love. Come on. Come on. Come here. But the
Critics agree The Dropout is superb, and Rolling Stone gives it 4 stars.
Everything you're not telling me, I'm gonna figure it out.
The Chicago Sun-Times calls it brilliant.
This is an inspiring step forward.
Okay, so check this out. This, yeah, he didn't do it. He didn't do it. I believe in his innocence. Yes. So check this out. This actually has to do with that, about police. And so in Baltimore, it just made headline news. The chief of police, here, I'll bring it up. Cats. Let's see. Stop sharing so I can do something really quick. Yes, here we go. All right. Sharing this. These are the people that were doing this type of stuff back with Anad Syed, so, and they were just convicted.
Some of the allegations in the trial of a former Baltimore detective happening right now. Hello, everyone. I'm Vic Carter.
And I'm Rick Ritter. Welcome to the News at 6 and to all of you streaming us this evening.
Cases involving the Baltimore Police Department's once elite gun trace task force have been making headlines for years.
And each of these cases involving corrupt cops taking advantage of people in our city certainly impact the community deeply. And over the years, WJZ investigator Mike Elgren, he has brought you these stories covering every detail. Tonight, it's no different.
He is live in federal court following a corruption trial where a disgraced former city officer turns on his partner. Mike. Rick, the former detective who took the stand here this morning, described the great lengths he went to cover up his crimes and those of his supervisor. He said the defendant used to be a close friend. Former Baltimore detective Carmine Vignola, out of prison after serving 6 months for perjury, testified against his ex-partner Robert Hankard. You can't discuss anything, or can you? No, sir. It's the latest police corruption trial with ties to the disgraced gun trace task force. Hankard is fighting charges he provided a BB gun that was used to frame Demetric Simon, a man who wrongly spent almost a year in jail and is now suing the city for $17 million. Deborah Katz-Levy with the Public Defender's Office listened in to some of the testimony about falsifying reports.
Adopting false statements to protect more superior officers was widespread. Mr. Vignola testified today that this was a routine practice for him, and that was not that long ago. I'm looking around the room. Does everybody else feel this same sense of shock and really deep dissatisfaction at the fact that people's lives are ruined by a statement of probable cause?
The case has revealed a web of lies that entangled several officers.
Sir, do you understand your rights?
Former GTTF boss Wayne Jenkins, now in prison, requested the BB gun as part of a cover-up after he ran over the victim just off Bel Air Road in 2014. Another disgraced member of the force, Keith Gladstone, testified he and Vignola agreed to lie about the whole thing, and they were so worried about being caught, they would only discuss the case while inside a swimming pool so they would be sure no one was wearing a wire. Vignola said he never wanted to testify against Hankard. I lied so he wouldn't get in trouble. Hankard is also accused of falsifying records for a drug arrest at a Southwest Baltimore motel. The motel was crawling with cops. We visited that same motel for an investigation into an illicit gun operation in 2016. I asked Levy whether she believes this kind of corruption is still going on in the BPD.
I think we have no reason to believe that those practices have changed. A life can be ruined for any kind of arrest, yet alone certainly a fraudulent arrest. So it's just deeply sad that this goes without real repercussions for human beings.
Commissioner Michael Harrison says the culture of the department is changing because of reforms he is implementing. Hankard maintains his innocence. He faces up to 55 years in prison if he's convicted. Live at the federal courthouse, Mike Helgren, WJZ.
Okay, yeah. But the part that they're not talking about is that the guy that testified was given immunity. So, but this all has to do with the Baltimore's was all about the that's where Anan Syed, and it was all corruption. It was all telling Jay what he was going to testify to against Adnan, and so this is huge actually for Anan Syed. But this is just breaking. Obviously, you could see the date on it, April 6th. I've been following this since the early 2000s. I graduated high school in 2000, and they were seniors in 1999. So in college, but yes. So anyways, hello, Muffy. Again, hello to everybody in chat. I didn't get to see all the comments, but yeah. I knew that the CBI lead investigator got booted because he wouldn't testify a certain way for Linda. I knew that. It's just, isn't it crazy? You don't see any of this stuff happening in huge drug busts. You know, where's any of this stuff happening with like huge drug busts? And, But like when you talk about murders and then you have all these breakdowns, and no, people are using mainstream media and horrific tragedies, however they happened, for their own personal gain. And that's why stuff like this is happening. Same thing with the Rachel Del Tondo case, and that the fact that they went through 3 police chiefs during, what? Rachel Del Tondo was just murdered, and you're having a pissing match with some board members that don't do anything. But here we're going to go ahead and place somebody on. It's nuts. But that's a huge, this is, everything that's going on in Baltimore now is huge. Baltimore has been it's always been known as being corrupt, but it's like, it just brings in everything into question in any case that these people ever worked on. Period. Oh, Kate does it ever. The people that think that Shanann Watts that it was a hit on Shanann, and I'm sorry, but I just, whoa. And they're being serious, they're not just messing around. But yeah, to talk about lack of evidence here, or people's testimonies or witness statements and things like that, and to talk about a timeline and how stuff doesn't add up, and that's one thing. But just to there's no evidence anywhere, and you're just making stuff up, what? Why? And there's only one answer. Wait, Muffy said, I used to believe that. Muffy, why would you believe that there was a hit on Shanann? I need you to tell me why you ever thought that. Muffy. Muffy. Because I heard she had shady dealings in North Carolina. Muffy, I have no words. I got nothing. That was years ago. So they just waited until, I don't know. Well, I'm going to end this. I'll be back later on this evening. That's why I need you, girl. Yeah, Teddy's taking a break because Teddy was nibbling at stuff that she wasn't supposed to, Jaxie. So, but I'll be back later on this evening at about 8, I think 7:30 or 8. Check it out. There's a thumbnail for it. And it'll be a good one. A popsicle? Yeah, you can have a popsicle. And then we got to get ready. We're going to go to karate. And then after karate, we're going to get dinner. Okay, baby? Lana. All right, and guys, thank you for all the new people in chat. Hopefully we see you again soon. And everybody that's old in chat, I love you. Hit the thumbs up. Consider being a member of Fight for a Family if you are not, and all those good things. So, I'm back at my desk. I feel like I can actually like function again. So, Raging Night Wolf, thank you as well for your engaging and on topic comments. So that's always awesome. Again, thanks everybody. See you soon. Again, tonight, 7:30, 8 o'clock. I can't remember what time it starts at, but it's going to be a good one. I am commenting on John Paul's, I don't even know what you want to call it, but, I mean, I have lots to say about what he's tried to pull in the past week or two. So, see you guys then.